Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is MrYorkiesWorld, and today I have got a treat for the very many people who have been requesting an Australia-based video. I've got some Orbex Australia scenery at the moment, and we are going to be flying from Brisbane here at Yankee Bravo Bravo November to Sydney, Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee, with Virgin Australia Flight 992. So the first thing we're going to do is set the parking brake, and we can go ahead now and sort out the fuel. So on today's flight, if I can get there we go, fuel. And today we're going to be taking 17,040 pounds of fuel. I have to think about that then. 17040. We're going to request clearance from Pro ATC.
Velocity 992, roger, runway 32, clear to Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee. As filed, fly runway heading, climb and maintain 5,000. Expect flight level 320 within 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 123.55. Squawk 3757. QNH 1011.
Lift Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee. As filed, runway heading, climb to 5,000. Expect flight level 320 within 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 123.55. Squawk 3757. Velocity 992.
Velocity 992. Readback correct. Contact ground on 121.7.
I'm actually going to request runway 01 because that's the active runway over here at Brisbane at the moment.
Request runway 01, velocity 992.
Velocity 992. Contact clearance on 118.6.
Just reset the time there. It is literally 3 minutes past 6 this morning. So we need to request it from clearance again, so runway 01.
Velocity 992.
Velocity 992. Roger, runway 01. Cleared to Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee. Via the Hotel Uniform Golf Oscar 5 departure route. And then, as filed, climb and maintain 6,000. Expect flight level 3.
So 6,000 on the MCP.
After departure. Departure frequency is 123.55. Squawk 3.
And the runway heading is 016.
1011.
Via the Hotel Uniform.
I do apologise about the frame rate issues. We're going to have those over at Sydney as well. Just going to open up some doors for GSX.
123.55. Squawk 3670. Velocity 9.
Catering vehicles are in position. That's all fine. We can switch on the fuel pumps now. And we might as well go ahead and set the ISO valve to auto and start the APU. Get that started up now. Logo light can come on because it's early morning. Arm the emergency lights and switch on all the belt signs. IRSs, they can be aligned. And the cruising pressurization is 320, which is going to be our flight level today. And I think that's about it for now, so we can go into the FMC. We've already got a predefined route set up. So first of all, we are at YBBN. And we're at gate 39. And we can take the GPSL position and stick it in there. And just before I go to route, I will press B and sort out the altimeter. There we go. YBBN to YSSY. Runway 01. And our flight number is going to be Victor Oscar Zulu 992. If I can find Z. Oh, there we go. 992. Stick that into the flight number and activate and execute. I'm just going to check which SID we're using. It looks like we're going to be using the Hugo 5 departure from runway 01. Our zero fuel weight is 121.8 with a reserves of 3.5 tons. Cost index, I don't actually know what the cost index is, so I'm going to put 30 in. The transition altitude is actually 10,000, I believe, in Australia. So we can stick that in there. And the flight level is 320. Right, 24k D rate, as always. I never really go with any of the other ones. Flaps 5. And we can just check some winds. So let's just get active sky next up. Or active sky. 320 at 6. Stick that in there. And we should now be able to work out our V-speeds. But I need to close the doors first for GSX before it shouts at me and open the doors ready for boarding. 133, 136 and 145. Obviously 145 being the V2 speed. VORs, traffic and data with the flight directors and everything. Sort all that out. Auto brake's already set to RTO. We can arm LNAV in a moment. It's not going to arm straight away because we need to actually decide what we're doing in terms of the depart page. So departures, right, 01. The Hugo 5 departure. And we're going to be expecting runway 16 right over at Sydney, but that's liable to change according to the weather. And as you can see, LNAV just successfully armed. Right, transfer the power from the APU. I'm going to try and get out of here as soon as we possibly can. I think what I will do is I will switch on the hydraulics and the anti-collision light because we are literally about to get ourselves out of here. Let some passengers in. I did have to close the door and then open it and then close it again for some reason. GSX still hasn't fixed the issue where you leave the door open and it still asks you to open it anyway, which is very strange. But nevertheless, we will wait until the passengers have been boarded and everything is finished, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so all the passengers are finally on the plane now. We can go ahead and shut some doors now. And some cargo doors as well. And we can go ahead and go onto the legs page on FMC number 2 and the takeoff ref page on FMC number 1. I'm just trying to work out the speeds again. It's indicating that I need to rework them out, but nevertheless, we're okay. That little arrow shows for some reason. It doesn't usually do that. Don't know what's going on with the gate. I can sort of see through it at the moment. Pushback and departure. Virgin Australia. We are going tail right today. And we want to start the engines during pushback. Remove the ground connections. Switch back to the legs page, that's fine. Ground to flight deck, we are ready to commence pushback. And everything else is set for pushback, I think. Let's just request permission to push back and start.
Velocity 992. Start up and push back approved.
Approved. Velocity 992.
Excellent. So, there was the tow truck. Engine page, we can bring that up just so when we start the engines we've got some information to reference from, whether or not things are actually working. Release the parking brake. And yes, I am aware that GSX does that. It still says release parking brake on its own. I need to delete a certain file from the audio of GSX to stop it from doing that. But look at that view. Lovely wing view, and we've got some nice early morning weather. It's pretty clear, to be honest. Engine number 2 starting up now. Anytime now, we should be able to see the animations, the smoke animations. I love those. Unless it's not going to do it. No, I don't think it's going to do it. Anyway, there was the cutout, so we can go ahead and switch on number 1, or start number 1. Release some fuel. Might just be able to see the smoke effect on this one. Possibly. Set the parking brakes, please. No. Okay. Parking brakes set. I don't know whether we're going to get to see any smoke effects, but the engine is definitely spooling up. There we go. Excellent. Right, so we're just waiting for number 1 to fully spool up and everything before we can go ahead. Look at that. That is what sort of turn we have got to do. Near enough a 90-degree turn. Probe heats can come on. We are disconnected. The bypass pin has been removed. And we can go ahead and transfer the power. Packs, they can come on. APU bleed off, and the APU itself can come off as well. Engines to continuous. Flaps 5. Which we should be able to see being deployed. There we go. They're on the way down. Brilliant. Right, okay. Let's go down to the trim and just set that to 5 or thereabouts. Control check, full left. And if we can do it, full left, full right. There we go. And we can go ahead now and switch on the transponder to XPDR with a test. Can't imagine any reason why it shouldn't pass.
Velocity 992, request taxi.
Velocity 992.
Taxi lights can go on now. TCAS has passed.
Fire Charlie 4 Bravo Alpha 7 to runway 01, velocity 992.
And there we go, we've been approved for taxi to the runway. So here we go. Full turn to the left. Apologies in advance, we are probably about to hit quite a bit of FPS turbulence, if you can call it that. Not going to have much in the way of FPS. That's not actually too bad. I don't know what that plane is doing up there ahead of us. It's travelling quite slowly. And we've got a little bit of lightning happening as well. Nevertheless, the weather seems fine, so I don't know why there's lightning in the background. It might just be like... I think Australia is well known for having, like, random thunderstorms and stuff, so... More than likely, it's going to be something like that. Nevertheless, a little bit of information about this flight. Again, the flight number is Victor Oscar Zulu, VOZ992. We're travelling from here in Brisbane to Sydney. The flight time is approximately 1 hour and 28 minutes, and we're going to be covering around 411 nautical miles. So, I don't actually know what he's doing. If he's landing on 01, he's a little bit too far gone, I think. I don't know, I've no idea. He's certainly not in line with the runway properly, but that might be a glitch with Pro ATCX. I'm expecting some problems with this because, although it's a fantastic add-on, it does actually have quite a few problems at the moment. It's like a, from what I know, it's like a beta sort of thing anyway. It's not fully developed. It's a fantastic thing, like I said, but like, for example, if you're travelling on a taxiway, I don't know what's happening with the textures on this taxiway, by the way, but there are problems where planes will just randomly appear and disappear and stuff like that and get in your way, forcing you to have to either press the hotkey to clear that traffic, which is slightly unrealistic, or find another way around it, which is equally as frustrating. But anyways, we are now travelling to 01, runway 01, ready for takeoff, so I'll skip to the part where we actually get there, and we can get this bird up in the air, and make our way over to Sydney. Alright, so here we go, we're about to line up at 01. There is an aircraft that has literally just gone around. So he's going around, he's had a missed approach. Again, the textures aren't too good on the runway and the taxiways. This is Orbex scenery, I don't know what's wrong with it. I've only just installed it. I've also only just installed P3D version 4.2 again, because I've completely redone it from scratch, just to make things work a little bit more smooth. And as ever, I'm still in the process of getting things working fully. So, we've got the lights sorted out. Everything else is sorted out.
Velocity 992 at runway 01.
Velocity 992. Hold your position.
Holding our position. Velocity 992.
Hold our position. It's a little bit late to do that. We're on the runway. Nevertheless, we'll hold our position. Just waiting for the tower. We don't have any other aircraft getting ready to take off or land at the moment, according to little nav maps, so...
Velocity 992. Line up runway 01.
Lining up runway 01. Velocity.
We're already lined up. I don't know what's going on.
992. Wind 320. Runway 01. Clear for takeoff. Good flight.
Clear for takeoff. Fantastic. Yeah. No idea. Whoa. Okay then. So we do have an aircraft there. Start the clock and toga nonetheless. We've already started the takeoff roll. He should be out of our way. I don't know where he's just come from, actually. These are the joys of Ultimate Traffic Live. And as I said, it's not perfect. But anyway. V1. Rotate. And we are up. Gear up. Positive rate. See you later, Brisbane. On this early morning, 22 minutes past 6 in the morning.
Velocity 992. Radar contact. Continue via the hotel uniform golf Oscar 5 departure route. Climb to 6,000.
6,000, that's already programmed in. We will go with the autopilot now. Make a nice turn to the right. Engines can go back to normal. Turn-offs can come off. Look at that view. That, my friends, is the beauty of Orbex Australia. If that's even what they call it. It's the Orbex Australia scenery. Nevertheless, we will deal with some flaps. Flaps 1 now. Spam the altitude intervene a little bit. And we might as well bring the flaps fully up now.
Velocity 992. Climb to flight level 190.
190.
190. Velocity 992.
There we go, just spam that in a little bit. And that is it, we're airborne. Not sure whether to hit the speed intervene just to make sure that we don't go over 250 knots, but we shouldn't anyway. And I'm really excited to see what the views are going to be like on the way over to Sydney. Look at that, that is gorgeous. But there we have it. On our way out of here. Making another turn to the right now. Following the departure route. Have a look at the first officer's seat. Very rare that I use this view. That is amazing. The lens flare and stuff, it really just adds another level of immersion to the sim. And that's the path that we're following. Again, it's like an hour, and I think it's like an hour and a half, this flight. An hour and 28 minutes exactly, according to the documents that I've got in front of me here. Nevertheless, we are on our way out of here now. I'm probably going to skip straight to the cinematics, show you some of the amazing views on the way out of Brisbane, and I'll see you a little bit later on over in Sydney. Alright, so we are basically about to start our descent now. We're at the top of descent nearly. I'm going to ask to... In fact, no, here we go. 240, there we go. I was going to go ahead and manually start the descent, but... or request it at least, but no need. 240, I've just been told by ATC. And this is where we begin our descent into the final stages of our landing. Just set the barrow, which is at 220 or 220 feet. Same on the other side. Auto brake can go to 2. We do have some pretty nice scenery, to be honest. It's like a nice sort of... It looks like evening time, but it's not. Lovely, lovely scenery. Absolutely love it. I think whenever you get some sort of Orbex scenery, you can guarantee that you're in for a good treat. So anyway, we can go ahead and get the approach ref page up. We are flaps 30 at 142. We can switch over the frequencies to 109.9. Ready for landing. We're not going to go ahead and activate those frequencies just yet. They are in the standby state. I'll probably go ahead and use the vertical speed in just a while, because as you can see, the descent's going fine at the moment. But when I did the test flight over to Sydney, there was a bit of an issue. But here we go with the start, the MEPIL 2 with the ILS-07 approach, or MEPIL 2 approach. That's the star that we're going to be using. Everything's configured up there, we don't have to mess about with anything, as you can see. It's all set. And that is essentially it. We've basically got to wait now until ATC tells us to descend a little bit lower down. We are currently at 7:03 AM. And it's basically just a case now of waiting, being patient, and hopefully we won't mess up the approach. If we go into the planning mode here, if I can get it, there we go, plan mode, right, legs, and you can see here this is basically the approach that we're going to be using. Let me just zoom in a little bit. We're going to be going over the runway and then going basically to the south, and ATC will vector us to come back on ourselves, which is a bit of a strange approach, but then again, the world is filled with those, I suppose. The world of aviation. But nevertheless, I'll see you guys in a bit when we finally manage... Here we go, descending a little bit further now. When we finally manage to get over to the final approach over at Sydney. Okay guys, so we are basically on the final approach right now. You can see we've come back on ourselves. I need to deploy some flaps because the nose is pointing up a little bit. Once we fully capture the glide slope, that will change. Everything will be sorted, we'll be alright. The nose will pitch down on its own. It's 8:28 AM now. We've been perfectly fine up until this point, so hopefully nothing will go wrong. We won't have to do a go-around or anything. Look at the scenery down there though, the trees. We've got Orbex trees as well, by the way. Lovely wing views and stuff like that. You just can't go wrong. And obviously all of this is just made even better by the fact that we've got the PTA tool and Rex and stuff like that and Active Sky. Just going to mess around with the speed a little bit. I don't want to go too slow to the point where the aircraft starts pitching up again. We're already at flaps 25, and that's actually quite the setting for the distance that we are away from the actual runway at the moment. If all else fails, I may just have to deploy flaps 30 very, very early. But nevertheless, we should be alright. We should be fine. The next aircraft that you might see me in, at some point soon, hopefully, is going to be the Aerosoft Airbus or one of the Airbuses, because I really do want to get into the cockpit of that aircraft. I know that the Airbus aircraft are not currently, or at least Aerosofts are not currently compatible with P3D version 4.2. Look at that view. How nice is that? Anyway, as I was saying, so yeah, the next aircraft I want to try and learn is the Airbus. I've been saying it for the past few videos, and it really is something I want to do, so look forward to that. As you can see, I don't know whether you can, if you've got this on full screen you probably will be able to. The PFD there is showing the glide slope is coming in very, very soon. And as soon as we capture that, we won't have any more problems with the nose. There we go. Nose is pitched back down again now. And there's the warning saying I haven't deployed the gear. So gear down.
992 on request landing runway 07.
Velocity 992. Clear to land runway 07. Slow to final approach speed. QNH 1008.
Clear to land runway 07. Final approach speed. Velocity 9.
And we're already at our final approach speed, which is perfectly fine. No problem there. Should probably have waited to deploy the gear until we were clear to land, but I was getting the very annoying warning. But look at the scenery. I mean, you just can't go wrong with that. Really am impressed with this. The absolutely gorgeous 737-800 with winglets in the Virgin Australia livery. Not sure whether it's the up-to-date one, but that's the one that was available on the PMDG Operations Centre, so that's the one we're using. Here we go. We have now captured, or almost captured, the ILS fully. Glide slope's okay, localizer's coming in, seatbelts can come on. I know they're on auto anyway, but nonetheless, or nevertheless. Localizer's coming in nicely. Again, we're at flaps 30 at 141 plus 5 knots because of the wind. So a little bit of a crosswind blowing us to the right. But it is facing our way nonetheless. So we've gone ahead and added 5 knots onto the final approach speed. Again, beautiful view as we make our descent. I'll disengage at about 1,000 feet and we'll whoa, that, what the hell is happening there? I don't know whether you can see this. Let me just try and zoom in without, oh no, that there. What is happening? That aircraft has just taken off from runway 01, I believe. Why is it flying towards us? Why is that happening? 1,000. There's 1,000 feet. Disengaging, the aircraft is now mine. I absolutely love Ultimate Traffic Live, but when stuff like that happens, it's just a little bit concerning. So I've got control now. I'm going to stay a little bit high until we get a little bit further down. Although it probably won't work like that. We've got another aircraft there as well, just flying across the airport. Not really going to pose much of a threat to us, but there we go. I can see myself messing up this landing already. The EFIS is not actually showing me the wind anymore, which is weird. A little bit low. I'm trying to follow the PFD rather than the Pappies, but they're saying I'm way too low. Looking alright on the PFD though. Minimums, continuing. I'm definitely not doing too well on the Pappies at the moment. Everything else is looking fine though. Bit of a bigger flare. Whoa, that was a bit hard. Nevertheless, It's not the hardest landing I've done. Reversers. Okay, let's get this bird to the gate. Alright, so we finally found our way around. We're going to Terminal D, Gate Delta 35. I really do love this airport. This is a really interesting airport, actually. I'm glad I purchased it. People have been hounding me in the comments and saying, please, please, please do a flight to somewhere in Australia. So I decided, why not do a flight to good old Sydney? And to make it even better, let's do the departure and the arrival both in Australia. So anyway, but I'll definitely be flying from this airport or to this airport again in the future. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. Right. So we're actually at gate 35, which is just up here, so I'll switch off the lights a little bit closer to the actual gate. I've not even cleaned up on the MCP because we've just been trying to figure our way around this airport. We'll sort that out in just a second. But here we are on the right hand side. Let's just go ahead and switch off the lights. And we can pull into the gate. I think this is actually armed with the tool that shows... Yeah, it is. Shows you how far away you are from the gate and stuff and when to stop. Should try and roll it in. Gotta say, there's a huge amount of detail put into this airport. There we go. Stop. Parking brakes on. We can cut the engines. Transfer the power. Seatbelts off. And I think straight away we can request deboarding with Virgin Australia. And I'm going to go ahead and request ground power just so that we can prevent any cutouts of power or anything like that. But that is it. Welcome everybody to Sydney, Australia. Melbourne to Sydney is in the bag. Virgin Australia 992. That is it. Can open the cargo doors and everything now. Hope you enjoyed the flight, guys. If you want to see any flights similar to this one in the future, please subscribe to the channel. If you want support and help and things like that, you can go over and become a patron. You get priority support, and I will message back near enough straight away to all of those people who are Patreons and want support and things like that. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see future videos. Like the video if you really liked it. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.